So if you want to increase your defense like mine, here's what I did to get to that point. First off, find out in your play data what actually your weakness is. Go to the performance stats, and this is where you see your defense actually being listed into more detail. Block up is literally just the amount of attacks that you can block by holding back or down back. And dodge king, of course, is when you sidestep in order to avoid an attack. Escape artist, of course, lastly then is when you just break throws. And compose lastly is staying a good distance from your opponent, like keep out and spacing. Because my block up is basically maxed out, it just means that I try to block as many attacks as I can by just holding back or down back. Dodge king, you just gotta know, for example, the sidestep matchup for each character. For that, I have a little graphic on my phone that shows me for each character what the most likely way to sidestep is. For example, Azucena is sidestep right, but that does not appeal to all of her attacks. While running 3-2 is still sidestep left. Knowing that takes time and literally just learning it like you did back in school. Show a character, say, okay, which one is it? Is it sidestep left or right? Check the answer and then go over that over and over again. After like 3 months since the game has been out, I'm slowly getting the hang of it and I don't need the graphic anymore, but it's super helpful. Compose basically is just me constantly backdashing and doing Korean backdashing, so back. And escape artist is the hardest thing that I need to work on still. It's just learning what to dodge, when to, if you do get grabbed, what's to break, and from then on, of course, how you can continue on. So the main thing that I do when I start playing this game is just warming up my hands, starting with some Korean backdashing. It's like a basic thing, movement is king, and you absolutely have to warm up your hands to that so you remember in the heat of the moment that you can do that just as an evasive move. Next up, this is why I played Dragunov. I go to practice settings, defense, and set the actions to his grabs. What I like to do first is doing it quite simple. I record the move by doing the punch and then the throw. So I go here, punch, and do the throw with the same hand. Then record the next move with the opposite hand. So in my case it would be 2, and then the throw that we do with 2 and 4. With these 2 moves already, you can help to train your eyes what happens next and what button you need to press. It's all about figuring out which hand you need to use to break. So if he comes forward with his left hand, you gotta use triangle. If he comes forward with his right hand, you have to use square, or respectively 1 and 2. And because sometimes throws actually swap you with sides, it's even better because you constantly have to rewire your brain depending on what side of the map you're on. Once you're done with that, of course, you can also skip the punch beforehand and then just select the move from the list. So this time I have to directly react to the hands that come forward. Quite simple. That already trains your eyes just intuitively what button to press. And Dragunov is a special case because his grabs are also particularly fast, and because of his code, I have a feeling that I don't see his hands that clearly to know when this happens. Of course, you can do this practice with every character just to get used to their unique animations and what button to press in order to escape their throws. Now, of course, the next step, of course, would be also to include then the 1+2 breaks. For this instance, we would also add Blizzard Rush here. You can first do this without that. His move comes out so much faster. This is why so many people use the 1+2 throw. Because it comes out so much faster, you have barely any time to react. And training your eyes to see that even is even more important. What I personally found out during matches is that people like to use the exact same throw all the time. What I noticed most people in matchmaking, at least on red ranks, is that they also just use the exact same strategy. For example, they activate the heat, they run forward, and then immediately do the grab. If you get hit by it once, that's fine, that's their advantage. But if you do it again, and they don't break it, that's on you. Because you knew there was a grab coming, you either have to just expect it to be the exact same grab, or you just duck. Knowing to hold back, knowing when to hold down, learning the enemy patterns is a whole another level. It's where I spend also my time in. So let's take away the grabs here. Another thing that you can train your eyes to as well is the low launchers. For example, if you have Dragunov here, record, go down, back, 3, and just practice your eyes to it. Now, as Dragunov comes down here, for example, if you know that pattern, you can also train yourself to react better to that pattern. So you block it and then launch, for example, as a countermeasure. Keep it going. And bam, 373 damage just by holding down once and then counterattacking. But that takes time. You need to do this often. And this is one of my things that I currently need to improve on a lot more. reacting correctly and then making the right decision after reacting correctly. But yeah, let alone doing this throwback practice and reacting correctly, which button to press, is key. If you mix in the regular throws and then the 1+2 throws, it gets even harder because you actually have to react to your hands of the enemies. And you slowly get the idea, like, what you need to do in order to break one of these throws. I'm particularly bad at it right now, as we see. And the most important thing is you're not supposed to spam. You should really just press one button, and if you did it wrong, you did it wrong. But if you did it correct, you did it correct. Don't just spam this and hope that you will avoid the enemy. So yeah, for example, misjudged the center of mass from him. Twice. So this was not just his leading hand. There you go, third time was the charm, and I broke it correctly. Do this every day for like 5 minutes, and automatically you will start breaking so many more throws from the enemy. Especially because they don't do just throws out in the open like this. They do it after a combo, like 2 jabs. And for example, of course, as well, doing the heat rush. Happy practice, everyone. And of course, have a good day.